passion, my biology. Studied for science prodigies, my apologies. Flows and rhymes can be quite astonishing. I've been polishing every line, cause this writer's novel is published, so why...
What is up, everybody? Alphabyte here with another reaction for you. Today we're going to be checking out the song A.P.I.D.T.A, which stands for All Praise is Due to Allah. And this is by J Electronica. This is the only song I've heard off of this album. I don't even know how I stumbled across this song. I just know as soon as I heard it, it sat with me forever. This song gets me in my feels. This song is super personal to me. It's got a couple of really powerful lines that really resonate with me for a lot of different reasons, and I'll get into it a little bit more as we go through the song. But it doesn't have it in the credits, but Jay-Z is actually in this song as well. He's singing the hook for this song. But let's go ahead and get right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Right off the bat, this beat, oh man, like you just want to sink into it, right? Like it's just so fucking relaxing. Just makes you want to immediately start self-reflecting, whether actually I guess just introspectiveness in general, but you want to look inward as well as looking outward when you hear this instrumental. That's how I feel.
This take me right before the shit though. They doing all kind of shit. I got numbers in my phone that'll never ring again, cause Allah done sent them home and they'll never, I got numbers on my phone that'll never ring again, cause Allah done called them home. So until we sing again, I got texts in my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them, so I got them. I don't want this thing to...
And there's Jay-Z immediately opening up the song. And that is going to be the hook for this track. As you can tell, it's a 5-minute song. It's a very slow song. It's a very slow song, but it's very impactful. And right off the bat, you can hear what he's talking about. He's saying, I got numbers in my phone that'll never ping again, right? Because Allah done sent them home. And until we sing again. So basically he's saying that, you know, they've moved on from this life. They've passed on. You over time, as you get older, especially, you lose people in your life. And that's just the cycle of life right there. You live and you die. And it's really beautiful. I like the way that he phrases a lot of these lines in this hook, because it's modernized with where we are today, especially with technology, how legitimately there's numbers in your phone that you have that you're never going to hear back from. It's like this really ominous way of being able to look back at people who passed away that you had conversations with, or that you got voicemails in your phone. And depending on the type of person you are, you're going to hold on to those forever. You're going to cherish those. You're always going to be looking back at them. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, the way he talks about how Allah done sent him home. So, you know what I mean? Like, assuming that home is where heaven is, right? Where the soul truly belongs in the kingdom above. And it's just really impactful to me. And it's fucking beautiful. This song sounds so good. And I like the way Jay-Z is just kind of, you know, it almost sounds like he's choked up when he's singing it, but he's also it's just the pitch in his voice. It's a soft delivery, but yeah, man, like, so until we sing again, you know what I mean? So until we can be reunited, all I'm going to have are screenshots and voicemails and old text messages.
Sing again. I got texts in my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them, so I got them. I don't want this thing to... I got numbers in my phone that'll never ring again. I got
I just love this beat. So it's just, fuck, man. It fucks me up so good. Like, it's just the way it goes, boom, 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 boom. Like, it just has such a, I don't know. It's like your heart and your state of mind. It follows the instrumental. Like, it rises and it lowers again, and it goes back and forth between that feeling.
I got numbers in my phone that'll never ring again, cause a lot don't call them home. So until we sing again, I got texts on my phone, they'll never ping again. Subscribe them, so I got them. I don't want this thing to end.
And even right there, when he says screenshot, I screenshot him, so I got him. His voice, it cracks. You can tell it's breaking. Like, this is hard for him to be speaking about. And he can be diving into his own personal feelings, or he's just doing that effect so it adds more to the song and to the delivery of the line.
I don't call them home, so until we sing again, I got texts on my phone, they'll never ping again. Subscribe them, so I got them. I don't want this thing to end. I got numbers on my phone that'll never ring again, cause a lot don't call them home, so we never sing again. I got texts on my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them, so I got them. I don't want this thing to sleep well, sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleeping well, sleep well, sleep well.
And I love that little piece right there too, because the first times he repeats it, he's saying sleep well, sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleeping well. Like, those first two sleep wells, it almost like he's addressing those who are resting in peace, right? Like, he's hoping their souls is laid to rest. So sleep well. And then he flips it to talking about himself. He's like, lately I haven't been sleeping well. Like, so it's immediately like this, and it's obviously it's a interpretation, but like that's what I feel like it means. That's where my heart gauges that line, because that's the direction it leads me to.
Sleep well, sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleeping well, sleep well, sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleeping well, sleep well, sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleeping well, I've been
I'm just vibing out right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You know, cause it's so good, right? Cause it's like, man, it's needed, you know what I mean? Gotta finish them scriptures, man.
And Jay Electronica, he's coming in with just kind of like this open dialogue of before his verse starts, and that's even everything he's saying just in a little piece of conversation. You know, he's talking about like how it's necessary to be doing this, to be grieving and to be accepting and loving of what comes after life, and how it impacts those around you who are still alive. And he says, I think it's perfect how he's like, it's needed, man, right? He's talking about like, this is needed, this is necessary, this is something that has to be done. And then he talks about like, you got to finish those scriptures, man. And that's another beautiful part too. He's tying in his faith into this loss, this grieving process. And yeah, faith is always going to be something that helps you out when you deal with that kind of stuff. Always.
It's needed. You know what I mean? Gotta finish them scriptures, man. It's needed, man. It's needed. Eyes fiery, cry tears to my diary. Sometimes a Xanny bar can't help you fight back the anxiety.
And I like that. The diary, anxiety. Nice little 3-syllable end rhyme. But eyes fiery, cried tears to my diary. Sometimes a Xanny bar can't help you fight back the anxiety, right? So, you know, his eyes are fiery. So that's he's leaving that up to interpretation. You could think like his eyes are fiery because he's upset that what has occurred has happened, and he's got to deal with it. He's got to live with this. cried tears to his diary. So between himself and his the place where he can externally express himself from within also, right? So it's an external expression from the internal self. And he's talking about his eyes being fiery, and the beautiful contrast to that, the opposite of fire is water, right? So him immediately saying his eyes are fiery, almost like full of rage, but yet they're able to yield tears. He's still so sad, and it's being laid upon a very personal thing, his diary, where he can write, where he can express himself. And also the Xanny bar, fighting anxiety. Anxiety is a real big topic these days, and a Xanax, people take those prescribed medication, right? So if you have severe anxiety, there's a good chance you've been prescribed Xanax in your life. And he's talking about how even sometimes a Xanax bar won't help him deal with this anxiety.
To my diary, sometimes a Xanny bar can't help you fight back the anxiety. I go to my Lord quietly, teardrops on our faces, teardrops on my faces, like teardrops become waterfalls by the time they reach my laces.
Fucking powerful. I go to my Lord quietly, right? So another beautiful thing to interpret. He's not making a big deal, as in maybe to others around him. He's not making a big deal that he's going to his Lord and seeking help and asking for strength. And also maybe he's not approaching the Lord. So forget about how it's being expressed to other people. Maybe he's talking about how he goes to his Lord humbly, quietly. He's not going in a rage. He's not upset. He's not cursing the Lord's name. He's not saying, "Why did you do this? Why would you take this person from me?" No. He's approaching in a humble honor. And it's a beautiful thing when he talks about how by the time that his tears reach the floor, the laces, they've turned into waterfalls. He is unstable. He cannot help but pour out this feeling of grief and sadness and emotion. It's uncontrollable, and having tears turn into waterfalls, right? Like, I mean, that's powerful imagery. And this line right here, we'll talk about it as well.
The anxiety, I go to my Lord quietly, teardrops on our faces, teardrops on my faces, like teardrops become waterfalls by the time they reach my laces.
So yeah, teardrops on his faces, right? And by the time they reach his laces, they're waterfalls. It's a beautiful thing.
My eyelids is like levees, but my tear ducts is like glaciers.
My eyelids are like levees, but my tear ducts are like glaciers. They're cold. He's in a cold place. This is an unforgiving feeling. This is something that is tearing him absolutely apart. And glaciers, that's a beautiful, beautiful way to describe that feeling. Like, this is not a warmth, right? He gets no pleasure from this. It's cold, it's bitter, it's heartbreaking, it's cruelty. And so he's talking about how his tear ducts, they're like glaciers. I love it, man.
Time they reach my laces, my eyelids is like levees, but my tear ducts is like glaciers. As I contemplate creation, the salt that heals my wounds pour out my eyes is like libation.
As I contemplate creation, right? So you can't help but think about something that specific and powerful and impactful when you're dealing with death. You contemplate creation as a whole. And this is all at him after talking about how, he he goes to his Lord quietly. And he talks about how upset he is, how sad he is, and how cold he's becoming, or how cold he feels in these moments. And then he contemplates creation right then and there. And then the salt, what's he say? The salt that heals my wounds is like libations or something like that. We'll have to play that part back, but Yeah, this song's deep, man. This song's deep. It's slow, but every word has a tremendous weight. Every line has a expression in it, or a way in delivery that just, it's just really, especially if you've lost someone in your life, and I'm talking like those important people, the most important people, not someone you just kind of knew, not a part of your family that you weren't even close with, but like that, those people you never dreamed of ever losing. Obviously, it's going to happen at one point, but you just get caught off guard when it finally happens, and it forces you to go through these emotions and contemplating creation. I mean, you're going to think about yourself passing. You're going to think about every loved one passing, because you're like, man, I lost this person. Who knows if it's this person next? So you contemplate all of the creation. Who's really behind all this? Is there anyone really behind all this? Is this just life existing? Are we no different than just the planet itself? It was just created from, cause and effect and science, and that's all it is.
I contemplate creation. The salt that heals my wounds, pour out my eyes is like libation.
The salt that heals my wounds, pour out my eyes just like libations. You know what I mean? So now he's talking about how his tears have salt in them, right? And salt on the wound, that's an expression for like adding insult to injury. But he's using it as a way to describe how he's dealing with these emotions, and how much there is to it, and how impactful it is for him. Excuse me. So I think it's a really beautiful thing that he incorporates, the salt that's in his tears, and how time heals all wounds, but at the same time, I can just get lost explaining all of these subtle literary devices that are being used for him just to formally express the pain, and like he's putting heavy emphasis on his tears, and it's crazy to me. It's crazy. I love it.
As I contemplate creation, the salt that heals my wounds, pour out my eyes is like libations. I can't stop my mind from racing. I got numbers on my phone, pictures on my phone. The day my mama died, I scrolled her texts all day long.
And there you have it. There you have it. This is exactly who he's talking about. So before he gets into this line, he talks about how he can't stop his mind from racing. And that's tying in together with the contemplating the creation as a whole, how he approached his Lord quietly, how cold he feels in these moments, how just beaten he is. He feels truly defeated that he lost his mom. And the hook of this song, right? I got numbers in my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them, so I got them until we sing again. And he says the day his mom died, he scrolled the text between her and himself all day long. All day long. And that hits home for me. I lost my grandma a few years ago, and I was raised by my grandma and my grandpa for all my life, essentially. Like when I was 6 years old, I moved in with them. My parents were awful. And I can relate very, very much so. I remember looking at the last conversation I had with my grandma, and what blows you away is how in that moment when you're texting, it's not even in your head, it's not even in your mind. You just think it's a conversation. You don't even think that death is so close when it truthfully is. And then you also have these feelings. Again, your mind, it's racing. You have these thoughts and these feelings of being like, wow, that was the last conversation we had. I wish that wasn't the last conversation. And I'm not saying it was bad. It was just a normal conversation, but it makes you have perspective of wanting to have like more heartfelt, impactful conversations with people more often. And yeah, like this shit always hurts. When I know I need to basically acknowledge my feelings, I'll listen to very specific songs to draw those emotions out of me. And yeah, when I miss my grandma, this is definitely a song I play because it takes me through all of the fucking feelings. And it's been 3-4 years now. I want to say 4 years. I want to say it was like March 6th, 2019. I know for sure it was March 6th. I guarantee it wasn't 2020. It was March 6th, 2019, when I lost my grandma. So it's been just over 4 years. And in 4 years, it has never, ever gotten easier. It never has. It never will be. When you lose someone like that in your life, it hurts. It hurts every day you're alive. It might get easier to distract yourself. But like I said, when I know I've been quote unquote distracting myself for too long, for whatever feelings it is, I play certain songs to draw out those emotions just so I can feel them and validate them. Because it's therapeutic, and this song is therapeutic for me.
Pictures on my phone. The day my mama died, I scrolled her texts all day long. The physical returns, but the connection still stays strong. Now I understand why you used to cry. Sometimes we ride down Claiborne. You just missed your mama. Now I just miss my mama.
And that that line right there really fucks me up. When they would ride down Claiborne, when they would ride down a certain street, or when they would ride down through a certain neighborhood, it's like he has this moment to reflect and realize, now I know when you would do that, and I was in that car with you. Maybe you would go out of your way just to see where your mom was, or where you had childhood memories, or where you said goodbye at. And now he's realizing, like, you just missed your mamas. Now I miss my mamas. And it's just like that cycle, you know what I mean? That you live and you die. And it's a generational thing. You can see it. He was able to see his mom miss his mom, and now he's missing his mom. Like, it's a crazy circle. But it's a cycle everybody goes through.
Now I understand why you used.
There was another line I wanted to talk about.
My mama died, I scrolled her texts all day long. The physical returns, but the connection still stays strong.
The physical returns, but the connection still stays strong. So I'm not entirely sure what he means by the physical returns. And this could be part of his faith in his religion and what they believe. And meaning that there is a form of the physical returning, right? Or maybe, because when I originally hear this and I think about it, like, my first thoughts are like, while the physical is gone, while these people do pass, the connection still stays strong in a way that it is forced to adapt and evolve into, with them being absent in your life. So, like, any of the powerful relationships that don't exist in the physical world anymore, they still find a way to remain very powerful in that connection between memories in your heart through love. And I'm lucky enough to where I see these people in my dreams. I straight up will dream about them, and I am so blessed that I can do that. I'm blessed that I have that fortune, right? Because not everybody even can remember their dreams every night, let alone dream of significant relationships of people who passed away. I dreamed about my grandma almost like 3-4 times a week for the first 2 years she passed away, and it was crazy. It was very crazy. Every dream was so different. I mean, I don't want to get into them because some of them are just like borderline traumatizing, but some of them were super cathartic. Some of them were so necessary and very, very impactful. The weight that was lifted from my chest from some of those dreams was surreal. So yeah, I find this line interesting. The physical return, but the connection still stays strong. I would love to know what you guys think about that line, because music's subjective from the listener's standpoint, of course, and sometimes the intention from the artist is that way as well. But I feel like with a song like this, it has a more direct meaning. I'm just not entirely sure what it is. At least the first part. Obviously, I understand the second part.
Now I understand why you used to cry sometimes we ride down Claiborne. You just missed your mama. Now I just miss my mamas. The clothes we wear to bed at night, the sleep is just pajamas. The flesh we roam this earth and is a blessing, not a promise.
He's talking, that's a really, like, the imagery here is very powerful because he's talking about the clothes we wear at night to go to bed are just pajamas. Meaning, I don't know, that's another line. Well, I feel like the interpretation is pretty open, but I know the artist, I know Jay Electronica has a very direct meaning behind it. So let's see. The clothes we wear to bed at night are only just pajamas. And it's a good rhyme for promise, of course, because you're talking about the flesh we have when we are on this earth and roam. It's a blessing and not a promise, meaning that this life is not guaranteed. It's not promised. It could end at any day. And to an extent, you're lucky that you're even born. 100%. You are just lucky. Bottom line, that you're born. And he's talking about, again, with that imagery, the flesh. We roam on this earth. It's a blessing and it's not a promise. But the clothes that we wear at bed are only just pajamas. I feel like he's talking maybe about how there's nothing more to it. But at the same time, I kind of feel like there's interpretation that's open there because not everybody's fortunate enough, right, to have pajamas. But at the same time, to those who are fortunate, those are just pajamas. It's not that big of a deal. So for the next line to be talking about life itself being a blessing and it's not a promise, you could argue that they kind of tie in together purely from the fact of what your perspective is. You know, some people are just like, this is life, it is what it is, I'm going to live and I'm going to die, and that's it. They don't really have much thought into how powerful life itself is. Similar to how people who look at pajamas as just pajamas, it's not that big of a deal to them. Like, of course, they're just pajamas. But to someone who's less fortunate, it's like, what? You have pajamas? You're not cold every single night? You've got a blanket and a pillow and a heater, and you got all these different things. But that's kind of the first things I think about it when I hear those two lines together. Like I said, I feel like there's definitely more to it. I know there's a very direct meaning. I'm sure if we pulled up Genius, we could probably find what it means. Which I'm gonna do because I'm pretty curious. Let's see, where's Genius? Maybe we'll even be able to look at the other line too. Okay, well, here we go. Not just referring to literal pajamas, but also our physical bodies that our souls lay in. This is confirmed by the following line. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool right there. So, oh, I see. He's comparing the clothes that we wear, pajamas, are a direct line to the flesh. Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And we don't have a breakdown for the physical returns, but the connection still stays strong. But, oh well. We'll leave these lyrics up just in case we want to look at more.
I bow with those who bow to the Creator and pay homage. The blessing, not a
hold up.
At night, the sleep is just pajamas. The flesh we roam this earth and is a blessing, not a promise. I bow with those who bow to the Creator and pay homage.
Promise, pajamas, homage. Beautiful end rhymes. And this line right here, right? I bow with those who bow to the Creator and pay homage, right? So I bow with those who bow. I worship with those who worship. You know, that's like a really beautiful tribute to not just the faith itself, but those who also follow it. So it's like, I respectfully give respect with others who give respect to the Creator. And by doing so, you're paying homage with those around you and with yourself. And again, to me, that's like like I said, it's a beautiful tribute to the faith itself and to those who follow it, and of course the creator themselves.
Blessing, not a promise. I bow with those who bow to the creator and pay homage. Sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleep well. I even hit the beach to soak my feet and skip some seashells.
I like how he repeats what Jay-Z says, like, sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleeping well. I even hit the beach to soak my feet and skip some seashells. Sleep well, seashells. It's another really good end rhyme. He's got some internals in there as well with beach and feet. I even hit the beach to soak my feet and skip some seashells. Just to basically to be in the moment and to go to a beautiful place and just simply enjoy the moment and simply enjoy what you have and what you're able to do. So he'll go to the beach just to soak his feet, right? Because he can. That's a form of connection with this earth and with the beauty of life and what's available on this planet. And skipping some seashells, right? So he's just there to relax, to think, to enjoy what he has. Like I said, it's about being in that moment. And you know what? You don't got to do anything crazy when you're at the beach. You can just go there to soak your feet and skip some seashells. You can just be there to enjoy it.
I haven't been sleep well. I even hit the beach to soak my feet and skip some seashells. Sleep well. The lump inside my throat sometimes it towers like the Eiffel.
The lump inside my throat sometimes it towers like the Eiffel. So the Eiffel Tower. That's a really cool way of enunciating it. Eiffel with seashell. Sleep well. You know what I mean? He keeps the rhyme going by enunciating it differently, or that's just how he naturally enunciates it, and so he was able to just plug that in beautifully for the rhyme. But you know what I mean, when you get really choked up, when it's hard to speak, when you're just so worked up emotionally and you're sad, you really feel like there's something in your throat, and he's comparing that because your throat's not that big, right? I mean, if you have a lump in it, right, from being choked up, it could only be so big. Yet he's using the beautiful imagery to capture how big it actually feels, how tremendous this weight is, and how much he's hurting by comparing it to being the size of the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Sleep well. The lump inside my throat sometimes it towers like the Eiffel. Sometimes I wonder, do the trees get sad when they see leaves fell?
And that's another fucking gorgeous line, right? Like you can tell he's a deep thinker. You can tell that his empathy extends to any living thing or even non-living thing. Like he just said that sometimes I wonder if the trees get sad when they see leaves fell, right? When they see a part of them falling, when they're losing a piece of themselves, when something that they've helped grow with, right? Because a leaf is part of a tree, right? Through all these different connections, you got a leaf on a branch to a stump. Like it never ends. It's all connected in one way. And to me, like I said, it's his empathy is able to extend to not just himself or to people around him, but to a form of life that helps us live, right? So I love that. It's a simple thought, but it's so much deeper than you would think. I want to catch all this real quick.
Well, lately I haven't been sleep well. I even hit the beach to soak my feet and skip some seashells. Sleep well. The lump inside my throat sometimes it towers like the Eiffel. Sometimes I wonder, do the trees get sad when they see leaves fell? Sleep well. The last time that I kissed you, you felt cold, but you look peaceful.
And that hurts a lot. Like that, that's another one of those lines that anytime I hear it, it breaks me. A piece of me breaks. A big piece of me, because that was exactly what I did with my grandma. When I left, I remember getting a call from family saying, "Get to the hospital. Grandma's passing." And yeah, I drove like 40 miles from work to get there. And I got to the room, and my family was there, my sisters, my uncles, right? My grandma's sons, my uncles. My grandpa was there. My mom was there. And they were just standing around her bed. And yeah, I basically kissed my grandma on the forehead and I told her thank you. Because that's all I needed to say. I didn't even have to think about it. I just knew what to say. And that was the most overwhelming thought I had, because she helped give me a life that I got to live. And I miss her and I love her. And when you see that person on that deathbed, basically, they look cold and they look peaceful, right? Because they're basically asleep and they're seconds away from passing. So that line, ooh, do I love it. I love this song. I love everything about it. Getting a little teary-eyed here in my feelings, but that's what happens when you fucking have to expand and think about these feelings and revisit them, especially these very, very memorable moments. But yeah, this probably is my most favorite line in the whole song. And yeah, I couldn't relate more to it. I truthfully couldn't relate more to it. And I'll never forget, she passed away just moments after that. And I'll never forget, the nurse told me, she essentially said, it was almost like she was waiting for you. And that fucked me up, because I couldn't think of any other way to describe it. It really seemed like she was waiting for me to get there so I could say goodbye. And I'm thankful for it. Very thankful for it. So let's go ahead and move on, because we're basically done with the song. It's going to be a long outro with the beat playing and whatnot.
Sleep well. The last time that I kissed you, you felt cold, but you look peaceful. I read our message thread when I get low and need a refill.
Yep. I read our message thread when I get low and I need a refill. And that's another thing that you can interpret as basically, when I need a refill, when I need a reminder of what you are and who you were and the life that you and I shared together from a mother to a son. I need a refill. I need that refill of love between the son and the mother. I need that bond back. Or it could be talking about just happiness in general. Like when I'm sad and depressed about literally anything and I need a refill on happiness, I know I can revisit that message thread and get a refill of happiness by just going through that again.
You look peaceful. I read our message thread when I get low and need a refill. Sleep well.
Sleep well. Sleep well. Lately I haven't been sleeping well, keeping well. I got numbers in my phone that'll never ring again, cause a lot don't call them home. So until we sing again, I got texts on my phone, they'll never ping again. Subscribe them so I got them, I don't want this thing to end. I got numbers on my phone that'll never ring again, cause a lot don't call them home, so we never sing again. I got texts on my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them so I got them, I don't want this thing to
So there's a few times where he'll actually say, I don't want this thing to end. And I think when he intentionally leaves this out, when he says, I don't want this thing, when he intentionally leaves that out, by him finishing that line and by him saying those words, he's creating the ending. So to prohibit that from happening, he doesn't finish the line. He doesn't let the ending happen. I don't want this thing. He just cuts it right there. So I think that's what that intention is. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
So until we sing again, I got texts on my phone, they'll never ping again. Subscribe them so I got them, I don't want this thing to end. I got numbers on my phone that'll never ring again, cause a lot don't call them home, so we never sing again. I got texts on my phone that'll never ping again. I screenshot them so I got them, I don't want this thing to
right, so that was Jay Electronica. All praise is due to Allah, A.P.I.D.T.A, and this is from his A Written Testimony album. I hope you guys enjoyed that song. If you can't relate to it, that's no big deal. It's still a good song regardless. And if you can relate to it and you never heard this song, I'm glad that I got to expose you to this song. I hope it's as therapeutic and provides some sort of relief in your heart like it does to me. I hope it resonates with your soul like it does with me. I hope this is a song you can go back to. And like I said, I hope you can use it for basically emotional vulnerability like I do. And if you enjoyed the song, it's going to be down in the description of this video. I'll have a link to the song. I'll have a link to the to Jay Electronica's YouTube channel. So make sure you check it out. Listen to it on your own time. Enjoy it. It's on all platforms, of course. And if you enjoyed this reaction, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You guys already know how we do it around here, though. Until next time, y'all, doses.
I kept clenching both my fists and all the anger I had gripping. Then one day I sat and listened. Eminem was on and ripping like he wasn't on a mission to get sober. Had conviction, had some power in his image.